MAGA world erupts. Hello, everybody. David Shuster here. Donald Trump supporters are now lashing out at Walmart and heiress Christy Walton. The daughter-in-law of Walmart's founder is promoting the No King's Day protest. And now, as the Newsweek headline says, Walmart faces MAGA boycott after heiress funds No King's ad. More on the ad in a moment. First, some background.
Mass No Kings protests will be held across the country in response to Donald Trump's military parade in Washington, D.C. on June 14th.
This Saturday's protests are being organized by a large coalition of groups and grassroots organizers in all 50 states, all across the country. They're calling it No Kings, the No King's Day of Defiance.
Organizers for the over 1,500-city event expected to be the largest protest against the Trump administration since he took office.
And the number of No King's Day protests is now up to nearly 2,000, with hundreds springing up just since Donald Trump's deployment of the National Guard in response to deportation raid protests in Los Angeles. The No King's Day events began taking shape weeks ago when Donald Trump announced he would be holding a military parade on June 14th. The No King's Day protests are building just as tanks and other military equipment are arriving in Washington, D.C., and as details about the parade are emerging.
Sources say mounted rocket launchers will be on display, along with 6,000 soldiers and a 50-aircraft flyover.
Saturday is going to be a big day in Washington, D.C.
Officials insist the parade is solely to mark the Army's 250th birthday, but the timing is hard to ignore. Saturday is also President Trump's 79th birthday. He has a warning for any protesters.
And if there's any protester who wants to come out, they will be met with very big force.
One organizer of No King's Day, the president of the American Federation of Teachers, now responding to Trump's threat.
Donald Trump is a bully. And this is, and a lot of times what bullies do and what authoritarians do is they create fear.
That fear and bullying Randy Weingarten spoke about is at the heart of what Walmart heiress Christy Walton is condemning. She commissioned this full-page ad in the New York Times. No Kings, June 14th, mobilize. It says we are a people of principle and honor. We honor our commitments and stand by our allies. We defend against aggression by dictators. Further down, the honor, dignity, and integrity of our country are not for sale. Our government is of the people, by the people, for the people. Walton didn't mention Donald Trump by name. However, the ad is clearly a critique of Donald Trump's policies and tyrannical approach. And the promotion of No King's Day protests to counter Trump's military parade has caused MAGA figures to implode. Failed Arizona gubernatorial candidate Kari Lake wrote on X, "Do you shop at Walmart?" essentially telling Trump supporters to stop shopping there. Florida Republican Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna wrote on X, "Looks like the Walmart dynasty is big mad about China tariffs." The Walmart company actually issued a statement saying that Christy Walton's ad does not reflect the views of the company. In other words, Christy Walton was acting on her own, and Walmart is not promoting the No King's Day protests. However, that distinction between Walmart as a company and a Walmart heiress may be too much for much of Trump world. MAGA world is already angry at Walmart for threatening to raise prices in response to the Trump tariffs. A few weeks ago, Trump himself lashed out at Walmart.
President Trump warning the nation's largest retailer against raising prices. Posting on Truth Social, Walmart should stop trying to blame tariffs as the reason. He then added the retailer and China should eat the tariffs. The post comes 2 days after Walmart CEO Doug McMillon warned on a quarterly earnings call that prices may rise amid the president's trade war with China and other nations.
The chief financial officer of Walmart, John David Rainey, made a public appearance on CNBC and said the Trump tariffs and the cost to consumers are unique.
I've not seen a period where you've had prices go up this high, this quickly. We're well equipped and experienced in dealing with elasticities or price increases that are going up 2 or 3%, but not 30%. So we're going to keep prices as low as we can for as long as we can. We're our customers and members. But the level of tariffs, at least that were originally proposed in early April, were more than what retailers can absorb. And so able to manage their margin, they're going to look across all categories of products and look at the elasticity of the demand for those products and maybe change prices on other products that might not have a tariff applied to them.
Walmart is the nation's largest retailer, and if Walmart raises prices, analysts say countless other retailers will follow suit. So the Trump tensions with Walmart have been a big deal, not just in terms of prices, but also in terms of how MAGA world sees Walmart. Trump supporters are a big part of Walmart's customer base. The Trumpsters know it, and Walmart knows it as well. So it all makes the Christy Walton promotion of the No King's Day protests even more intriguing. As far as the protesters themselves, organizers of the No King's Day are urging demonstrators to ignore the Trump DC military parade. I recently had an opportunity on the Cliff Shuster Cliff's Edge live YouTube show to talk with one of the organizers, Malcolm Nance.
We're going to let the fool have his parade because, we honor the Army. There's going to be veterans there that, from the DC area who, if they get out there as happy birthday is being sung, they start chanting Trump as a C word. I mean, there's all sorts of pleasantries in store for them, but there's not going to be a Tiananmen Square moment. We don't want anyone interfering with the parade. No one should jump out in front of a freaking M1 tank with shopping bags and think that they're going to stop the parade. Go to the website, nokings.org. That is the Combined Alliance's website for this day. June 14th is No King's Day. They have press packages there. You could actually get the cool X across the King's Crown logo and make up your own banners. The purpose of this march is to march everywhere in America except Washington, D.C.
I like that,
The story will
very
be,
much like that.
The story will be if we could get 10, 20, 30 million Americans out on one day, right, with their flags for Flag Day, upside down, right side up, but to show no kings that the rest of America is against Donald Trump, they should do it.
Millions of people are going to do it and say no effing kings. And that anti-Trump effort has now been joined by an heiress to Walmart, Christy Walton. And if she is willing to risk the MAGA blowback to her family business, the rest of us with less of a fortune at stake should take action as well. So do something, big or small, but on No King's Day, do something. Let's go. By the way, Massachusetts Democratic Senator Elizabeth Warren recently ripped a MAGA news anchor on live television. That anchor, CNBC host Sarah Eisen, was arguing for big bank deregulation.
The question is, do you worry at all about the unintended consequences then of, it putting even more regulatory pressure on these banks, which are critical for our financial system, providing liquidity, providing loans? Do you want to see that in the hands of crypto firms or others that are less regulated?
I'm sorry, you're throwing a giant parade and tossing confetti over regulation that, let's see, what's happened in the last 9 months? Wells Fargo has been tagged for money laundering. It's been tagged for being engaged in consumer fraud, and it's been tagged for cheating its investors. Man, I don't know about you, but that doesn't sound like to me really tough oversight.
Check out that video at the link below. It generated a lot of comments on YouTube. One of the most popular is from Jutarzo, who wrote, "Go Senator Warren, she calls out the BS." Indeed. I look forward to reading your comments about MAGA World freaking out at Walmart in the wake of Christy Walton promoting the No King's Day protests. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us.